somebody that came from Dubai with nothing, somebody that came from Dubai with tears in his eyes. No matter your situation, no matter what you are going through, believe me, you have something to offer. But the only thing that is holding you is the fear of what people will say. A barrow pusher, his children are at university. And how do he manage to train them? He himself doesn't know. It's just that grace. Whosoever find wife, find good thing, and obtain favor from the Lord. One way or the other, it will be manifesting. I said this particular story will inspire a lot of people, especially people who live in Africa. Yesterday, I met a young man. This guy is a very good friend of mine. He was a very big businessman 20 years ago. So whenever I come to Lagos from the east, I always go to his office. This guy has a shop as big as this sitting room. Yeah, he has a shop as big as this sitting room. And he has warehouses. So whenever I come down from east to Lagos, my younger brother always takes me to his office. And when I go there, sometimes he give me 10,000, sometimes he give me 20,000 naira. I'm talking about 20 years ago. But that is not the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because something happened. Yesterday he was telling me the story of his life. And I decided to bring it out here because this story, as I said, will inspire a lot of people. This guy is very rich, who has a big shop like this in Treffair with warehouses. He's a very big guy. 2000, 2001, 2002. Fast forward, 10 years after, everything goes bad. But why I'm bringing this story, as I said, is not because of what he did for me. It's not because of what I did for him afterward, but because of presently. This guy sold his cars, sold some pieces of land, because things were bad. So he started selling his properties. So after he sold his car and he sold some property, he moved to Dubai. When he got to Dubai, there's nothing to do. So he met a friend that told him that he need to go and look for a work, either in a restaurant. He asked a restaurant to do what? To wash plate. He said, wow. So, okay, there's nothing to do because there's no money. He's already spent all his money waiting to have a good job. You know, but good job is not coming because the good job will not even come if you don't have the qualification. So before you know it, he started searching for kitchen work in a restaurant. He couldn't find the job. So he stayed up to 9 months. Nothing was coming. So he decided to come back to Nigeria. You know, there are people who, when they travel, they struggle a lot and they feel like, what are they doing there? You know, he felt like after being a rich guy, after, you know, bringing containers, 7, 8 containers, now things are rough. He went to Dubai to see if he can buckle up, but it's not working for him. He ended up looking for a job where he can wash plate, where he can work as a cook, where he can not even working as a cook, to help as a cook, like cutting onions, cutting tomato, cutting the vegetables. He couldn't also find that job. So the only thing he has to do is to come back to Nigeria. When he came back, he was still struggling, nothing to do. But the good thing about him is he believed in himself. He said to himself, nothing will bring him down. It was a hard situation for him because I was part of his life. I can remember those days while I was still in Lagos with my wife. He always come to my wife's shop. He will stay there. Sometimes when he's going, I will give him money to go home. You can imagine someone who has a wife, has 4 kids. And every day he wake up, he doesn't even know what that day will bring. The children are somewhere crying. The school fees are there. I could remember when he always ran away from his house because of the landlord. This guy that I'm telling you has a house. He sold the house in Lagos. You know, when you are rich, you have a house, and when things are going sour, only thing that always comes to your mind is sell this one, then you put the money, it will eventually turn your situation around. He sold everything that he had, and then he has only his own house. He sold his house and moved into rent. And even when he moved into rent, he was still owing the man years after years. I could remember sometimes he would come to my office, he said, the landlord came early morning, he has to run. I said, bro, when will this thing stop? He was still struggling. I was also struggling. And then 2018, I decided to go back to Austria. So when I got to Austria, my wife came in 2019. We started this Facebook of 18. He was one of the people that encouraged me. He was one of the people, when people were bashing me, when people were saying a lot of things on the comment section, he was one of the people that stood for me. He was constantly telling me, we'll go, you guys will do it. So we were doing it. And we were also in contact. So one day, he was so excited the day the visa came. He was so excited the day he was at the airport moving to Dubai. The moment he got to Dubai, his eyes opened to reality. He told me yesterday that when he arrived, he went straight to the guy that received him. He spent only 3 days, and the guy told him, you need to look for a job. And he asked the guy, what kind of job? The guy is working in restaurant, and the guy said to him, let's go to my office, let's see if they will take you. And he was like, what? This is something that he did not do while in Nigeria. Why will he do it in Dubai? The guy said, bro, if you don't want to do it, then you have to find another way, because I can't keep you in my house. Oh God. He said, okay, no problem. There's nothing he can do. No choice, no option. He doesn't have any option than to comply. They went searching for work. He went to the restaurant. They said they don't need anybody. They went searching for complete 3 months. He was searching for a job that he could not do here in Nigeria. And he did not get any. So after like 3 months, he asked him to leave. So start roaming the streets of Dubai with no hope. He only believed in God and faith. He has a wife. He has children. And even at that, the wife and the children are happy that the dad is far away in Dubai. And whenever they call him, he smiles, he laughs. He tried to make them feel that everything is fine, but inside him, he's dying in silence. After like 7 months, he asked himself, that 7 months, he did not send kobo to his wife. He did not send kobo to his children. The wife was struggling. He only calls friends that he knows, please, can you give my wife 10,000? So this is how he kept going until after 10 months, he said to himself, I think I need to go back to Nigeria. Funny enough, he doesn't even have money to go back to Nigeria. So how will he manage to go? He has to sell one of his things in Nigeria again to have a ticket to come back to Nigeria. So when he came back to Nigeria, wife was disappointed, friends were disappointed, children were disappointed, everybody were disappointed with him, but him alone knows what he saw in Dubai. That Dubai that he went was a blessing in disguise. You know, sometimes, that's why I said no experience is waste. No experience in this life is waste. No matter what you are going through, I said it always, the situation you find yourself now is a stepping stone. I repeat, whosoever find wife, find good thing, obtain favor from the Lord. You know, when you have a wife, you have children, you don't know how you are managing to train those children. That's why you can see a barrow pusher. his children are in university. And how do he manage to train them? He himself doesn't know. It's just that grace. Whosoever find wife, find good thing, and obtain favor from the Lord. One way or the other, it will be manifesting. When he came back, the children are not happy. The wife is not also happy. But as I said, that movement to Dubai was a blessing in disguise. So when he came back, he said to himself, I went to Dubai to search for a restaurant where I will wash plate, where I will help to cut onions, cut tomato. Now this is my fatherland. So why can't I open a restaurant? If I can go to Dubai to search for that, not even for my own self, just to work for somebody washing plate, then why won't I open a restaurant here? You know what happened? He called his wife. His wife is a good cook. He told her, you know what? I went to Dubai. I wanted to work in a restaurant as a plate washer or as a cook helper who can be cutting onions and tomato. And my wife, you are a very good cook. I want to open a small one. Let's just try and see. So they start cooking in their own house and then take it out in front of their house and sell. Thank God, sometimes that's why I say, if your husband, even though he's struggling, or no matter how your wife is struggling, if your husband or your wife brings suggestion, don't use because things are not working for him or her, and see that suggestion as useless, or see that man that brought that suggestion as foolish man. Just put it in place. Try it. If it works, fine. If it does not work, it's also an experience that you guys will share. So the wife buy the idea. So he went out with small money he has. They cook a small pot. They brought it outside their house. They sell massive that day. In the next day, and not only selling massive, he cooked with about 10,000 naira. He got 20-something thousand naira gain. And he was like, what? He used the 30,000 naira that he got again. He cooked. He brought it outside his house. He sold massively. He said, no, something is happening here. Yesterday, he was telling me this story. So I said to him, can you please say this on camera? I want you to say this story by yourself, because this story will help a lot of people. He said to me, Ugo, let me be honest with you. There is this thing that you always say that got me moving. I said, what is it? He said to me that the problem people are having in this country is what people will say. Ugo, you always say it. The problem people are having in this country is what people will say. When he wanted to start it, initially, he was, having that fear of what people will say. Him that was an importer, him that has a bigger office like this, him that once has warehouses, him that is giving people money, him that has built mansion in village, him that has built house here in Lagos, is now coming to cook in a small pot and then sell outside his house. The moment that fear came, he said to himself, no. Ugo Eaglet constantly says the reason why he made it was he blocked his ears because the fear of what people will say came. But I said to myself, 2019, I will never listen to what people will say. Instead, I block everybody. A lot of people, my friends, are saying, see how I'm fooling myself on social media with my wife. I block my ears. The fear of what people will say will render you useless for the rest of your life. And you know why? because of the fear of what people will say. But you forget to understand that as soon as you make it, people that calls you name then will come back and say, will go, you know what? I know you will make it. Let me continue, guys. He's cook small. He bring out to his outside his house, they sell. He did it a couple of months. Somebody who came to Nigeria with nothing. Somebody who his wife was saying, I'm disappointed in you. Somebody who came back with nothing. His children, we are all thinking they are going to move abroad. The wife was saying, honey, I know you will do it. Now, this guy has one of the biggest restaurants somewhere in Maryland. This guy that I'm telling you guys is making money now. He's making what I call money now. He saw me yesterday while we went to trade fair because I called him. I told him, bro, I'm coming to trade fair with my wife. I want you to come around. He came. He was telling me this story. I was shedding tears. I told him, please, can you say this story? Because my followers will love to hear this. Because a lot of people are struggling because of the fear of what people will say. A lot of people know what they want to do, but they're afraid of what people will say. A lot of people in their mindset, they want to pursue, but because of what people will say, a lot of people have a lot of things they can offer. But because of fear of what people will say, they are still struggling today. What I'm trying to say is this. No matter your situation, no matter what you are going through, believe me, you have something to offer. But the only thing that is holding you is the fear of what people will say. It's time for each and every one of us to come out from that shell. I said it 2019 when my wife came up with content creating. I said no. And the reason why I said no is the fear of what people will say. But at a time, I realized that what people will say does not matter. What matters is the end. And this is what this guy said. This guy told me, Ugo Iglet, do you know what keeps me? It's when I remember you said the thing that makes us to go down was because of fear of what people will say. This guy used 10,000 naira to start. He cooked like somebody who is cooking for the family. They bring it out outside their house, and under 1 hour it was sold. And not only sold, he made about 20,000 naira. He said, what? I used 10,000. How did I manage to make 20,000? So that means if I use 30, I will make 80. And that is what he did. Under 3 months, this guy, he went out and rent a bigger restaurant, bigger like this house. You can imagine renting somewhere as big as this. Under 3 months, somebody that came from Dubai with nothing, somebody that came from Dubai with tears in his eyes, but without knowing that that movement alone was a blessing in disguise, because he said to himself, if I can go to Dubai to go and look for a restaurant where I can work as a plate washer or a cook help just to cut onions, cut tomato, so why can't I do it in my country, Nigeria? You see, now he's one of the biggest restaurant owner somewhere in Tedi, in mainland Lagos. I'm telling you guys this story because a lot of people are still in what people will say. Continue. But as I'm saying, I will be the last fool that will use because of what people will say. I would rather do that thing that I know that will benefit me than listening to what people will say, because I know after people will come back. Those people will come back and say, Ugo, I know you can do it. Thank you guys, and remain blessed.